The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, horror fans, and welcome to episode 330 of Frightmares. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for 2005's Hide and Seek is my wife, Gabrielle Proctor.
Hello.
I can't believe I haven't been doing that the entire time.
I was sure grateful you weren't this whole time.
Thought about that in the car today. Anyways, like we mentioned last week, this was a pick from you.
Yep.
And I could not remember if I had seen it. Ow, that's my foot. Turns out I don't think I ever have. I must have been confusing it with something else. Don't be afraid of the dark. I don't know. But, you know, they knew there was going to be some sort of twist because it builds up all this mystery and you're like, who is this person? Blah, blah, blah. And then it was revealed and I was stunned.
Yeah, that was fun to see.
And made me think, okay, maybe I haven't seen this movie. I could have sworn I had. De Niro, Fanning. I guess not. So I quite enjoyed it. So I guess my history with this movie is very brief. I'm labeling this as the first time I've ever seen it. If I did see it, it must have been around the time it came out or a couple years after. And I clearly forgot the twist ending. So that's my boring history. What about you?
I'm fairly certain I went to see this in theaters.
You said you saw it with your dad.
Oh, I've watched it with my dad, for sure.
Oh.
And obviously, as you know, because you were like, oh, it's not streaming anywhere. I'm like, that's because it doesn't matter. I own it. And you're like, no, we don't. I'm like, you better check because I sure shit do.
And then I still bought the Blu-ray.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that we watched the DVD.
Yeah, I upgraded.
Nice.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I don't care what the ratings say. I always enjoy this one. It's not boring. It's fun. And honestly, knowing the twist, you get to do the thing where you're like, oh, yes, I see where it's obvious if you already know the twist.
Yeah, it's just like The Sixth Sense. If you know the twist, you start noticing how no one interacts with Bruce Willis. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew about the twist before going into The Sixth Sense, and I still enjoyed it just as much as if I didn't know. So
yeah, and this one I've always enjoyed. It was definitely one of those random movies my dad and I watched together, probably because De Niro was in it. So
yeah.
The
movie gets a lot of hate.
It really does. Apparently the movies I like, people don't like. I'm like, what do you don't like? Fun? What's the problem?
Welcome to my life. I love the trashiest, cheesiest movies and rate them way over what they should be. Like Chopping Mall does not deserve. I mean, it's 5 stars in my heart, you know, but it's not a 5-star movie, but I gave it 5 stars because it's so enjoyable. It's 77 minutes. I don't dislike anything about it. So sometimes you just got to rate movies with your heart. And sometimes
that's what I always do. I'm like, how did I feel? Which is sometimes why you're like, whoa, you rated that so low. I'm like, it made me angry.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not getting rated well.
Yeah. No, I get that. You know, sometimes you rate a movie based on how good it is, like Hereditary, obviously a 5 out of 5 because it's a perfect movie in my opinion. And every time I watch it, I somehow seem to catch something new, which is crazy. And then Chopping Mall is also 5 stars because that's pure enjoyment.
It's commitment. It really heavily depends on the commitment.
Exactly.
Because if it's a cheesy movie, but everybody's committed to the bit, love it.
Yeah.
If it feels like everybody's phoning it in, especially the people behind the scenes, then I'm not going to like it. If it feels like it was half thought out, I'm not going to like it. But if it feels like they had that vision and they went for it and it was poorly executed because they clearly didn't know how to execute said vision.
Or didn't have a good budget, you know.
Also, I'm still there.
Yeah, B movies for me are exclusively rated on enjoyment because they're B movies. They're exactly that. They're cheesy, trashy fun. So Anyways, that's our history with the movie. We will get to the review here in just a moment. But before we do that, we got to do this. And we got to talk about what did Jason Hill make me watch. This week, Jason made me watch 2001 Maniacs from 2005. This is one I had seen many times, but I wanted to rewatch it because it had been quite some time. The synopsis is 8 college students traveling to Florida for spring break stumble into a remote town in Georgia where they are set upon by the residents. Very weird intro. And from right off the bat, Peter Stormare pops up, which I totally forgot and probably didn't even know who he was when I was watching this originally. And I also forgot they were vacationing. You know, they were supposed to go to Florida. They mentioned Daytona Beach, and I was like, that's our worst beach. Don't go there. It's the trashiest beach. Wow. Sorry if you're from there. It's not a great beach.
It's the only beach I've been to.
You've never... What?
Well, that New Smyrna.
I was going to say, New Smyrna is a much better beach. Coco's better. Anything on the West Coast, but Daytona...
Not driving all the way over there.
I mean, Daytona literally gets called Dirt-tona for a reason, so... And then that's all the notes I took on this movie, because apparently the theme of this, week is good old-fashioned racism, because this movie and the Oscar winner... Whoo! We watched both of these in the same day, and I was like, that's about enough racism for one day.
It was a lot.
Now, I knew there is a twist going into this movie, and I guess it does make the racism hit less because of, it's when you know the twist, you're like, that's why they were racist, I guess. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that there's a lot of racist undertones in this movie. The South will rise again. Oh boy, Robert Englund and Lin Shaye. Love them to death. But yeah, this was definitely an odd choice for both of them.
I spent the entire film asking you what blackmail they got on them to get them in this film.
Yeah.
Because damn.
Yeah. So outside of all the racism, it's a silly, campy movie. I love the idea. I love small town settings and movies, and this is, literally a town in the middle of nowhere, and they come across these crazy backwoods hillbillies, as they refer to them countless times in the movie, and then they start eating them and killing them, and they're cannibals, and it's like a lot of fun. There's so much. It's so much fun. I just wish there wasn't so much racism in it.
Yeah, to me, it felt like they were really trying to do this. The South will rise again, Texas chainsaw situation.
Right.
Except really badly. And frankly, it felt less offensive to the people they were just bandying racial or sexual remarks at. And weirdly enough, more racist, or more, not racist, bigoted to Southerners, because the implication is that all Southerners are hillbilly racist cousin fuckers. And you're just like, what a weird blanket statement. I know that's all of that stuff that gets said.
You need to be in Alabama for
that. It was so over the top. You're just like, okay, guys.
Yeah.
I also really, really, really hated the costumes. So
Yeah, I know you mentioned that.
Vehemently hated the costumes.
We're not here for the costumes, okay? We're here for the killing and cannibalism, which was very scattered and far and few in between the racism. So,
yeah, which was what made it really hard not to notice the costumes that look like bad Amazon budget Ren Fair shit.
Yeah, it's probably what it was. Well,
yeah.
Amazon didn't exist, I don't think, in 2005, but
But the setup was just kind of weird, and frankly, all the guys that came to town looked exactly the fucking same, so I couldn't keep straight who the hell was who the entire time.
But of course, they did have, one black person, and
there were two, a boy and a girl.
She was Asian.
I thought she was black.
She was definitely Asian.
Yeah, I tuned out a bit.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure they made some sort of, because they called her China Woman, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is just terrible, which that also is the theme between this and the Oscar winner for this year. So again, a very racist heavy content here. Not really a fan of it. I did like Robert Englund when he wasn't being, how many times can I say racist? Just start bleeping all of them out. I liked his performance. He gave a good performance. I love the eye patch. I liked his vibe. Lin Shaye was kooky and fun. There are a lot of good elements. The practical effects were pretty great. The kills were good. there's a lot of good stuff in here, for sure, but it's kind of overshadowed by all the negative stuff. So, yeah, didn't enjoy it as much as I remembered liking it. I did give it a decent rating just because I guess I just must have not really been paying attention when I watched it previously, because I don't remember it being that heavy-handed. But yeah, it is. So yeah, a lot of good, a lot of bad. But let's see here. It is rated 2.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Jason gave it a 2 out of 5. And his review is, the 90s catch shit for bad horror movies, but the 2000s were even worse.
Them's facts.
My rating is a 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, I have a nostalgia for it, but I clearly don't remember it very well. And I did enjoy the stuff that wasn't racist. So that's what I gave it. And you watched this one with me. You watched everything this week. So what did you give that movie?
A very generous 2. And that's only because of the Oscar winner. I'd rather watch this than the Oscar winner. That's fair. I could say there's a lot of other movies I'd rather watch before this that I probably rated lower.
And here we are. So
you really came in after just an absolute disaster of a film. That's why you got such a high rating from me.
Yeah. So that is 2001 Maniacs from 2005. It is streaming on Plex.
Jason says, check it out. You'll probably hate it.
This one you might hate. I don't know. I remember it being so different than that. But anyways.
Yeah, that's what you said about the Oscar winner too. And yet here we are.
Oh, here we are. Let's move on to the highest grossing movies and Oscar winners for 2005. The highest grossing movie was Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, at $905.6 million, barely beating out Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which brought in $897.5 million. Highest grossing horror movie of the year is Constantine, bringing in a whopping $230.9 million. This is the 78th Academy Awards, presented on Sunday, March 5th, 2006, honoring movies released in 2005. Best actor goes to Philip Seymour Hoffman for Capote. Well-deserved. Actor in a supporting role goes to George Clooney for Syriana. Best actress goes to Reese Witherspoon for Walk the Line. Actress in a supporting role, Rachel Weisz for The Constant Gardener. Cinematography to Dion Bebe for Memoirs of a Geisha. Director goes to Ang Lee for Brokeback Mountain. Musical score goes to Gustavo Santaolalla, which is a fun name to say, for Brokeback Mountain. And not winning anything else to my knowledge besides Best Picture, Crash. Yeah. Oh boy, not the David Cronenberg Crash, the other very, very racially toned movie that I watched in 10th grade.
Weird.
Like right after its release. I don't know why we watched this in English class. I have no idea, not a clue. I just remember there being boobs, and I was like, I watched a movie where there were boobs, in school where there were boobs. I thought that was hilarious. Don't remember any of this. Watched it a few more times after that. Weird. Again, maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't notice all of this stuff before, but here we are watching it with a critical eye now. The synopsis of Crash is racial tensions collide in a collection of intertwined stories involving residents of Los Angeles. And I said, that is a very apt description because this movie is racist from the get-go before we even get the title card. And that's when I stopped taking notes, just like 2001 Maniacs, because I was sitting there in utter disgusted dismay of what was going on. Oh boy.
Yeah.
It was rough.
This movie was ham-fisted. The whole movie ended up being everybody's racist all the time. And even when they're being, and someone's always racist about them too, and there's no escaping racism, you will always be racist. You're like, what the fuck?
The only person that was not a racist was Michael Pena, and good for him. He was such a good dad, doing the best he could for his daughter.
And I thought about it later, and they only wrote him to not be racist because they needed someone for when the whole bit happens later, that you would want him to survive. You would feel for him, feel scared. Because every other character was a stereotype with half of their personality was solely their stereotype. And nothing else. I mean, you've got the rich white woman who has no friends. Because they're all fake friends, and her best friend is her house cleaner, which is so wrong on so many levels.
God.
Especially since it came as a shock to both of them. You've got a politician who's only cares about the optics. You've got two black guys carjacking the whole time. You got the racist cop. And
assaulter of women too. Let's add that into the bag.
And they have a moment where it feels like they want you to feel for him that he maybe learned his lesson. I'm like, yeah, nope, he's still a bag of trash because I only watched him assault a woman half an hour earlier, so that's not going to be enough time for me to get over that part to feel for him now.
Well, they do that with almost everybody. They have this moment where they have an incident with someone of a different race, and they look at the situation, and it's like you can see the wheels turning in their head, but we don't actually ever get any resolution on if they changed their ways. I mean, even when Ludacris at the end of the movie is letting all the people out of the back of that van because he didn't want to sell them for $500 a piece, which was crazy, he's still calling them Chinamen. And you're like, dude, so did you change or did you not change? Because you're still calling them racist things.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And even when you have the shop owner that you kind of want to sympathize with because he's getting racially profiled, he decides to scream at someone, Michael Pena, racially profile him, accuse him of things because he couldn't be bothered to listen. And then he's making racial accusations. You're like, even the guy that's a victim of racism himself is also just being racist. You're like, so what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
It's not subtle.
It's not subtle at all. Man. And it was also a couple hours. I think it was like 2 hours and 12 minutes of just racism. You're like, oh, my God.
2 hours and 12 minutes too long.
Like, holy shit, what's happening? So, and all the actors in this movie are so much better than that. So much better. You've got Sandra Bullock, Don Cheadle. You've got, I don't really know much about Tony Danza, but I'm assuming Keith David, Matt Dillon, Jennifer Esposito, Brendan Fraser, fucking Terrence Howard. Like, you guys are all so ludicrous. You guys are so much better than all of this. Why are you in this movie? What's happening? What's the message? I don't get it. I'm not a fan of this movie at all.
I think it was like this supposed to be this idea that like, hey, we can admit racism is a problem in our country, and maybe if we looked outside ourselves, we could see it. But they spent so little time on the analyzing that racism and overcoming it.
Yeah.
And they spent so much time on the being racist part that it's like, yeah, all I got was everybody's racist forever.
And they had an incident where they might have thought about things, but I don't think we don't know if anybody changed their ways or tried to do anything better. So there we go.
Yeah, and I've seen other instances where like this character's a great big racist and watched them progressively realize they were making mistakes and they could be better.
Like American History X, solid way to do all of that.
Hard to watch, but
it at the end
got to its own point.
Yeah, so I mean, it beat out Brokeback Mountain, Capote, Good Night and Good Luck, and Munich. I haven't seen most of these. I've only seen Capote, I think. But any one of these would have been a better choice. So
absolutely, and I haven't seen any of them.
That is Crash. I'm not even going to suggest you watch this. Rating is a very controversial and divided 3.0 out of 5. My rating is a 1.5. I actually had to bump up terms of endearment from a 1 to a 1.5, so I could put this in the 1 spot because this was by far the worst Oscar winner I've seen so far. And my review is this movie is ludicrous, pun intended. Anyways, let's move on to something that's in fact not racist and get to this IMDb roundup. I'm also tired of saying that word. My God, if anybody's still listening, thank you. This is Hide and Seek from 2005, released on January 27th of that year in the US. It is rated R for frightening sequences and violence, mild sex and nudity, moderate violence and gore, mild profanity, mild alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and moderate frightening and intense scenes. Coming in at 1 hour and 41 minutes, listed as a horror mystery. Directed by John Paulson, who also directed Swim Fan, and then started exclusively directing TV in 2009. Very hard transition to make, but, I'm sure it might pay better. You never know.
Probably less big projects, more steady work.
Yeah, more steady work. Written by Ari Schlossberg, who only wrote one other movie called Lucky 13 in 2005. Composed by John Ottman, who has done a lot, and it was really hard to rein it into 3. So I picked The Cable Guy, Halloween H2O, and House of Wax. And then we also have Christopher Young, who also composed The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Dragging Me to Hell, and Sinister.
Nice.
Cinematography by Darus Wolski, who also did the cinematography for The Crow, Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, and Prometheus.
Nice.
Edited by Jeffrey Ford, who also edited Captain America 1 through 3. Avengers 1 through 4, and Spider-Man No Way Home, so he went on to get that fucking Marvel money. Good for him. Starring Robert De Niro as David Calloway, who everybody should know from Meet the Parents as Jack Burns. Yeah, I picked that movie. Fight Me.
Wow.
Not Casino.
Not Taxi.
Not Goodfellas. Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver. Well, you started talking and coughing.
Dakota Fanning is Emily Calloway, who we should all know from War of the Worlds as Rachel Ferrier. Famke Janssen, it's Famke Janssen. I've been saying her name wrong this entire time. Famke Janssen as Catherine, who is also in House on Haunted Hill as Evelyn. And
apparently we're just watching movies exclusively with her in it.
And The Faculty is that one teacher. Elizabeth Shue as Elizabeth. Don't hurt yourself naming that character, who was also in Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 as Jennifer, which I didn't realize. Amy Irving as Allison Calloway, who was also in the original Carrie as Sue Snell. I believe she was also in The Rage Carrie 2, and I'm pretty sure she was in the Carrie remake. But I know she was the original Sue Snell from the 76 Carrie. And we have Dylan Baker as Sheriff Hafferty, who was also in Trick or Treat as Steven. Estimated budget of $30 million, grossing $127.4 million. That's pretty good. It's about
Some of that was my money.
4 times your budget. Movie was filmed in Hayworth, New Jersey, and New York, New York.
Hell of a town.
I love a town. What?
I said hell of a town.
Oh, hell of a town. I thought you said I love a town. You can watch this on Tubi. Movies that came out around the same time. We have Hotel Rwanda, Meet the Fockers, Fat Albert, White Noise, Coach Carter, Electra, Are We There Yet? Boogeyman, Hitch on Back, Constantine, Son of the Mask, Cursed, and Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Okay, I've seen 9 of these.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Tell me how many you haven't seen at this point. If it's less, like, you haven't seen Hotel Rwanda.
That's true.
You haven't seen Fat Albert.
That's also true.
Haven't seen Coach Carter.
Yep.
And haven't seen Son of the Mask.
I have seen that.
Oh, God. Haven't seen Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Oh, I've seen that several times.
All right, then fuck, just
I'm
tell
back.
me. Golly. Hate this game. It's too hard.
Well, maybe you should play better.
IMDb summary: as a widower, it's a hard word to say, tries to piece together his life in the wake of his wife's suicide. His daughter finds solace at first in her imaginary friend. This is Hide and Seek.
We're gonna move upstate, the country.
What about Emily? This is a traumatic time for her. I think it's important she stays here and works through this.
Oh, here she's flooded with memories. But right now, I need to be a full-time dad.
I have a new friend.
A new friend?
He told me to call him Charlie.
When did you meet Charlie?
Today.
When we went to town?
It was before that.
Is he here right now? Emily, why would you do this?
It was Charlie.
It's not unusual for a child to create imaginary friends.
I don't want to be too forward, but I don't notice a lot of kids around, and I'm trying to find other kids to have play dates with Emily.
Do you like her, Daddy?
Emily.
Charlie says you do.
Stop this.
Did Daddy tell you that my mommy died? Let's hope you don't wind up like her.
You know, Charlie doesn't exist.
You shouldn't say that.
Why not?
You're gonna make him mad. Do you like games?
I love games. Would you like to play one?
I'm already playing. Charlie did it. You do believe me, don't you, Daddy?
Neighbor called, said there was a problem. What you drawing there?
You die. 3 1,000. 4 1,000. 5 1,000. 6 1,000. 7 1,000. 8 1,000. 9 1,000. 10 Come out wherever you are.
So, Gabby, overall thoughts on Hide and Seek?
I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's got a lot of suspense to it. I think it escalates, and you they do a lot to try to keep you on your toes. I know you and I discussed that we liked the widower dynamics better in this one that we did in Death of a Unicorn.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, I thought everybody was giving it their best effort in this film. So
No, I agree. My overall thoughts are, I think this is an expertly crafted mystery thriller with a touch of horror that tells a phenomenal story of grief and trauma. That's my overall thoughts. Before we do the opening scene, I just had to mention how much of a run Dakota Fanning went on for like 10 years.
yeah, she was busy.
Fucking crazy. So I Am Sam, 2001. Sweet Home Alabama, 2002. The Cat in the Hat, 2003. Man on Fire in 2004. This movie in 2005. War of the Worlds in 2005. Lilo and Stitch 2 in 2005. Dreamer in 2005. Charlotte's Web in 2006. Push in 2009, which I really want to rewatch. I remember liking that one. Chris something. Evans. They have like psychic powers.
Yeah, I know.
Coraline in 2009, Twilight New Moon in 2009, and then Eclipse and Breaking Dawn Part 2. Girl was busy.
Yeah, she was.
God damn. So I knew she was obviously a very prominent kid actor in that time. I've never looked at her credits all in order like that. So Girl was busy for a while, and then she kind of not fell off, but I think she just kind of took a break. But I was mentioning to you how she's one of the few kid actors that didn't spiral the fuck out and have to like come back to reality. You know, there's a lot of that happens to kids. I know Drew Barrymore was into drugs very young.
Yeah, and I think it's really a lot of that has to do with like their families and how are their families taking care of them.
Oh, of course.
Because a lot of those cases where they spiral out, you'll notice like their mom and dad are managing them, but also running them like workhorses and not giving them a lot of parental guidance. Like, Drew Barrymore, she was smoking pot at 10?
Jesus.
Demi Lovato wasn't allowed to have birthday cakes because she'd get fat, so they gave her a watermelon with Cool Whip on top for her birthday one year.
Oh, good.
Like, it's really unhealthy dynamics, and Dakota Fanning just said she had a good support system, and she really liked what she was doing and was really passionate about it, but she stayed grounded with friends and family and made sure to maintain those solid relationships.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, the most important thing about kid actors' success and how they do is their family, and usually their family's not that great. They're just trying to exploit their cute kid and make money. So, anyways, going on to the opening scene here, I don't think this is not really, I don't know. It's not really anything special, in my opinion. Emily's mom takes her life in the bathtub, and we don't know why at first, and I even wrote down something we'll get to later that I had to counter with the ending. And David mentions to Catherine that he and Emily are going to be moving upstate for a fresh start, and that's pretty much the opening of this movie. I don't know, it didn't really necessarily draw me in, but I was like, okay, it's a solid, opening scene.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I think it is, because you kind of wonder what the tension is going to be and whatnot, and like if you saw the trailer or read the synopsis before you saw the movie, so you know she's going to die, but you're like, what happened? And then
you don't get that answer for a minute.
Well, then he goes in, he sees the body, and he's devastated, and his daughter sees it, and you're like, oh no, she shouldn't have seen that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would fuck a kid up for sure. And the intro didn't really draw me in, but it's interesting enough to make me be like, all right, well, let's figure out, are we going to get an answer to this? And boy, do you. So what worked for me is the cast. First and foremost, the cast. Fanning was a force to be reckoned with in her heyday. And I mean, she's still a great actress now. Even though I didn't really like The Watchers, I still enjoyed her performance.
It didn't really have to do with the actor so much as the story.
Yeah, and she was great in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with the little role that she had. De Niro is, he's an established, solid actor by this point. Elizabeth Shue is always a delight, and Famke Janssen is completely underappreciated. So I enjoyed the cast. I think it's a very strong cast. I think it's a pretty, diverse in the way of not seeing these people typically work together.
Yeah.
They're all strong actors independently, so you bring them together and you've got a fucking movie.
Yeah.
On the same note, though, I do think Fanning and De Niro worked very well together. Unlike Paul Rudd in Death of a Unicorn, De Niro is trying to bond with his daughter after his wife's passing. He's supporting her. He wants her to confide in him. And I think that kind of the psychologist aspect weighs into that, because I don't know if it's explained what type of psychologist he is, if he's a kid psychologist or what.
No, he's an adult, but his Famke Jensen is a child psychologist.
Yeah, and he has Famke is his colleague, and she works specifically with kids and is in fact Emily's doctor.
Yeah.
So he bounces ideas off her, and they have a really good friendship. I thought they were going to try and get together for a minute, but I was like, no, they're just established friends and they're work colleagues and stuff like that. But yeah, you can tell he really cares in this movie. He's concerned for her because she is claiming she has this imaginary friend, and of course things start to escalate and he gets really worried, so he keeps he wants her to confide in him, but she doesn't want to, and you got to wonder why, because she mentions Charlie, and then it's like, well, I can't talk about Charlie. So it's like, I love the fact that Charlie was like, you can tell them about me, not anything else. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Got it. Cool.
Well, and I agree that, like, yeah, what we were saying, Paul Rudd's dynamic with Jenna Ortega, it's like he had that warmth to his expressions, but his follow through was terrible. It didn't really feel like he was trying to support his daughter in the way she really needed. He was too focused on supporting her in the ways he thought was best. But Robert De Niro in this film, yeah, he's got like the warmth of an ice cube, but he's very like straight-laced, very solemn. But he's trying. Like, you can see at one point he tries to play a game they used to play with her, and he tries to take her to new things. He's
introducing her to new friends.
Yeah, he's actively trying to workshop what would work for her, and that is pretty much his entire focus, is what can without like smothering her, he is, what can I do to help her feel better?
Yeah.
And he might not be getting it right, but you can see he's actively trying, and while she's still struggling, you can see like these kind of moments where she wants to be better connected, but she doesn't really have that. She doesn't know how to do it.
And it all makes sense when you get that twist.
Yeah.
David's also an incredibly patient, like, human being.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the psychologist also weighs into that aspect, but it's important for him. I think it's important for him to have this trait because of what's going on in the house. If he were to get upset with her easily or dismiss her or anything like that, it wouldn't have made you, I don't think I would have cared as much.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think it works so well because it's like his main goal. Because did they say he's retired or anything either? I can't remember. Because he's not working, clearly.
I kind of thought it was more like maybe he's on a sabbatical.
He's taking a break. Yeah, because he's clearly not working. His sole focus is taking care of his daughter, making sure she's okay. And he's even writing in this big book that he has all these notes on her, which I think is important. Especially for him as a psychologist to kind of write it down and assess what needs to be done. He's also still talking to Catherine, played by Famke. Sorry, I wanted to get that. She's also talking to Catherine about what to do, and she eventually comes out there and sees them and all this stuff. And doesn't she want to like take her back immediately?
The way she was talking, that the daughter's talking about Charlie, is just so concerning.
I'm concerned.
That she's like, something's not right with this, and we should really bring her in. And yeah, so she's got multiple people in her corner that care about her. There's just a disconnect on how they think they should handle it. And of course, the dad, being in that same kind of career and field, thinks he can manage it, when really those are the kind of situations where family is too close and you need someone with a little bit of distance.
Yeah, because he says, we'll give it 2 weeks, and if nothing improves, then we'll, ship her off and she can be with you. So, speaking about performances, though, Fanning does a remarkable job of playing a grieving kid. There's a lot of expression on her face. Like the scene after, I think it was the cold open, it was right before the title sequence where she's visiting Catherine, and the camera, it's like an extreme close-up on her face, and she's just got this wide-eyed, terrified, pale look in her face. Like, this is incredible that she was able to act like that. She was 10 or 11 in this movie because she was born in like 94 or something like that. So being able to act like that at that young of an age is incredible. And seeing your mom in that state in a bathtub die, I mean, that would fuck you up. And I think she does an insane job at conveying her grief and what she saw. Not to mention everything else. What?
No, I was thinking.
Oh, go ahead. You just look confused. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, and honestly thinking about it, how the events unfold from her perspective, she may not have realized what was going on right away. She may have thought it was a game.
Oh, yeah,
that she was enjoying until things escalated. Yeah. And because then you see her get more and more nervous about things as they go along. But yeah, she does a really good job. Like, she's being mischievous, she's grief-stricken, she's just copping a lot of attitude. She gives a full range without it giving 2000s Disney actor.
Yeah, and not I'm just angsty and brooding. No, I'm acting like this. I don't know why I'm trying to hide this twist at this point. I just realized we're beating around the bush here when we So yeah, it's not just dark and brooding and I'm an angsty teenager. It is, no, I saw my mom die in front of me because my dad killed her. And now he's developed some sort of second personality, because I'll just mention my favorite line now because it's very kind of integral with what I'm talking about. But it's from Catherine. She says, trauma causes pain. Eventually the mind will find a way to release it. So clearly David was traumatized from the fact that his wife is cheating on him at the party.
Yep.
They were at in the stairwell, which caused something inside of him to snap, and he killed her for that. And then, he, in his mind, he walked into the bathroom and she had cut her wrists and he found her like that. So it's almost like he saw something traumatic and acted on it without really knowing that he did it. And his mind made him see it a different way. And the way of releasing it is with this second persona or something. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I think to her, to Emily, it probably seemed like a game because he had been trying all these things with her. Because she meets Charlie almost immediately. So they're kind of playing, and like he asks where Charlie is, and she almost is like, he's not here right now, or he just left, and then kind of laughs about, like kind of smiles about it.
What?
So I wonder how long it took her to realize that was just not her dad.
Right, yeah.
Because at a certain point things start escalating, things start getting a little dark, and then she does not seem like she doesn't want to play anymore. She doesn't want to be there, and then at a certain point she's begging her dad not to make her see Charlie anymore.
Yeah, because there is that one scene when he tries to play that, it's not really hide and seek, but, the mom had walked into Emily's room and was like, where? I could have sworn I just saw Emily. Where did she go? And then she's hiding under the bed. She's like, I'm sleeping or something like that. It's a very cute moment. So David tries to recreate that when they go to the new house, and she doesn't want to play. She ends up being somewhere else.
She just happened to not be in the room.
Yeah, so I'm sure Charlie probably did that same exact thing, and over time, that's why she's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. Every time you play this game, you were doing crazy shit, because it's revealed that he's been doing all this stuff, and it's not some malevolent force or spirit. And I think that's what works so well about this movie is it's setting you up for right from the moment that an imaginary friend is brought in. It's completely setting you up for some sort of trapped soul or some sort of entity that clearly doesn't like David, wants him gone or something. So you think it's going to be something like that. There's also a lot of red herrings. You have the neighbors who are really suspicious. Mm-hmm. You think maybe it's the guy, even though he says his name is whatever. It's not Charlie. You're like, okay, but maybe it's him just saying a different name, because even in the interaction that Emily has with him, it's kind of weird.
It's kind of awkward because at that point, the dad's like, who's Charlie? Because you're troublemaking now. You're doing things you're not supposed to be doing, and saying Charlie told you to do it.
Right.
Or Charlie did it. And so he's starting to get suspicious, and he keeps seeing her interacting with other adult males. And he's like, who is that? Because even the realtor shows up in the middle of the night to drop off keys. And he's like, what the hell are you doing here? But this is right after Charlie just left out the window.
Yeah, it's like 2:06 in the morning because David just got up. So yeah, you're like, okay, maybe it's that guy, because why are you here? He's like, oh, we're going to Canada really early in the morning, blah, blah, blah. You're like, okay, that's kind of strange. But then you find out that the neighbors have a daughter who passed away. So you're like, maybe the daughter didn't pass away. I was like, maybe the daughter's locked in the basement or I don't know.
It's really just two grief-stricken parents who now have a kid that looks a lot like their daughter living next door, and they're just not processing their grief well. So they feel like they're being weird, but really it has nothing to do with De Niro or like their family
David.
at all.
Yeah.
It's just about their grief. So it's just coming off awkward.
It's coming off awkward, and every time they gave me a possibility for what it could be, I kept thinking, this is too easy. You know, there's no way it's this, there's no way it's that. And by the time the reveal came, I had no other options. I had exhausted every avenue going down, like, okay, well, it could be this, but no, I don't think so. And then they reveal that everything that's taking place is because David's actually Charlie and he's doing all this. It honestly blew my mind. I was like, wow, I never suspected him just because of his whole carrying side.
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's why he's like the least suspectable.
And you see this like kind of heartbreaking moment happen a couple times where bad things will happen. And he'll immediately go to his daughter and say, what did you do? Why would you do this? And she's like, I didn't do it. And he's like, no, you did. Like, that doesn't make sense. These are your crayons. These are your toys. Or like, you're the only one here. How can you say you didn't do it when you're the only one here? And she's like, it's Charlie. And you see this heartbreak in her eyes where she's like, why are you looking at me like that? You believe me, don't you, Daddy?
Well, and yeah, the thing I also enjoy is the fact that he's awoken basically every night at 2:06, which is the time he had killed his wife, and he sees some new horrid thing in their bathroom, with there's like crayons with notes and this and that. So you don't know exactly what to think, but you can, when you know the twist, you're like, oh, it's obviously that's his body's weird way of grieving, I guess, trying to leave himself messages or something. Like, I feel like it was almost a way for him to try to communicate with himself, but he was clearly not going to see that, because if you have split personality, I don't really think you have split personality. Maybe I'm way off, but I don't think people with multiple personalities know that they have that.
I don't know.
I mean, at least in his case, I doubt he does, because this is something that clearly happened when he saw his wife cheating on him. That's when the snap happened in him. So I think it's too soon for him to even realize that this is a possibility. He doesn't even have a diagnosis or anything. So
yeah, it feels like Charlie is this manifestation of the darker part of him, and it is trying to upset him and remind him of what he did,
right?
Almost to punish him for it, because he's blocked it out and is like, nah, you did it though.
Exactly, yeah. And so the waking up at 2:06 to that is this weird kind of, it's like a reminder, like, don't forget what you did, because his memory clearly blocked that out. What is it? Repress memories, where your body will just block something out and show it to you in a different way that you clearly don't remember. So it's a very interesting story, in my opinion. And I don't know if the twist is what lost people, or what actually lost people. A lot of people were complaining it was boring, it was dull, it was slow. How could someone like De Niro do a role like this? It was just really weird, negative comments, and I don't really get the hate for it. I could totally understand if someone found this boring. It is a slow moving story. It's a slow burn, but I didn't find it boring in any capacity. I think it built an incredible atmosphere.
It's just a slower build. It doesn't just crazy escalate, and some people, I think, are so used to films just kicking up to 100 really fast. This is not one of those films.
Yeah, it's a really slow build up, but I think it builds the tension is steadily inclining or increasing the entire movie until you get that twist, and then all hell breaks loose and you get like 15 minutes of wild Scooby-Doo shit at the end. It's like really fun. Like, they're all running around and people have guns, and It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I really like that. So I'm not exactly sure what people's problem with this may be. I mean, it's like I said, it's entirely possible the twist lost people. It is one of those movies where the twist is going to work for you or it's not.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think you're going to be, I don't think people will be like, it was okay. It's like, oh, hell yeah, that was amazing. Or, ooh, that was like a cop out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, it has the movie's greatest strength, in my opinion, is the ability to create mystery, suspense, and atmosphere, which for most horror movies, I believe, are, kind of a strong element in making a good like suspense thriller. Some other things I did enjoy about the movie itself was the small town setting. We mentioned this already with 2001 Maniacs. It is, I prefer more of like the Midwestern small town vibes, but this still works. It's a small town in
upstate New York.
I was going to say upper something. But yeah, it's an easy way to establish a sense of isolation without forcing it. Man, there's not a trope of, oh, cell phones don't work or any of those basic tropes about being out that far. I mean, it was also 2005, so cell phones really weren't like, I guess they were gaining popularity by that point. But I think that was it for, there's one scene I did want to talk about. Remember when he goes to the neighbor's house, he's dropping off that apple pie, and because he saw them fighting the night before, and I think he was using that as an excuse to go over there because he wants to dig up some information. And they're still recouping from the loss of their daughter, which is interesting because they don't give a time limit on, or they don't really give a time frame on that, but they still have all her toys and stuff out in the living room. And she moved a couple, which when I saw her move some of them, I was like, maybe she's like that. That's when the thought hit my head of maybe she's not dead. Maybe they're like keeping her prisoner there or something, because why would toys have been moved? So it just felt odd. But probably
because someone was in their space and she felt awkward about it because, if something happened to my kid, I would also not be in a rush to remove everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene. She says, "You have no idea how difficult he can make it," which sent alarm bells ringing into my head because I was like, "Ooh, that's when the first thought crept in for me of, ooh, this might not be a ghost story. It might be a person doing this."
Yeah.
So I love that scene because I think it's very important to be like to make you question if it's actually a ghost or not when it's not a ghost.
Yeah, and it was definitely a red herring because what she likely means is, most couples don't survive the loss of a child.
Right.
And it was probably more like they had different ideas about moving on at different paces, and it was just difficult to deal with because there's no proper way to deal with that kind of grief.
No, but you're right. Yeah. But it's just that
but the way she phrased it was just like, what?
You're like, oh, is he abusive? Did he maybe have, you see her and she looks very sickly. She probably, I think she said she said she had cancer or something, but a lot of questions come from that scene. So I think it's a very important scene to put in there because he's clearly trying to figure out if it's the neighbors because he's going over there kind of peeping around, trying to get some information off of her. So I really like that scene. And then the twist, I think it's incredible. Anybody who says they saw that coming, I don't believe. I really don't think there's a way for you to put that together. I'm not saying people haven't, but I know I did read a few of them like, oh, that was predictable. Really? Was it? Because I'm pretty good at putting things together like that, and I didn't even suspect him at all.
Yeah, because they do a good job of cutting between what he thinks he's doing and what he is doing to the point where it's really hard to tell the difference because you think he's just lost in thought and doing his own thing and doesn't realize what's going on, but really he's never even unpacked his office. This has been happening from day one.
And that's the other thing too with the twist. It comes with like other little micro twists. The fact that he did never unpack his office and write anything down in those books. The books were fucking empty. His office still had boxes in it. Then you also get the twist of there was another small twist that came with the big reveal. Oh, duh. You get the other little micro twist of how his wife died. Because I was sitting, I'd written down like, okay, there was a thing that didn't, it was under my things that didn't work. I was like, why don't we ever get a reason for why she committed suicide? I don't think it's like necessary to explain, but it kind of feels important to the story. And then I wrote down, okay, well, I have to redact that now. So you get not just one twist, but his wife is cheating on him. He killed her. He's been doing this all along. He never unpacked his office. He's clearly going through a lot that he doesn't even realize what he's doing. So you get all these like micro twists at the same time. So I really like that. I thought it was very well done. And kind of blew me away when I was like, oh shit, it's him. And then they go back and show you that about the wife. And you're like, oh my God. And what's even better about the twist is you get it about 15 to 20 minutes before the end of the movie. So now you're just forced to live in this world where David has two personalities and Emily is in danger. Like, is Emily in danger?
She's desperately wants her dad. She knows that
Not
Charlie will kill, and she's scared, and she doesn't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And she is begging her dad to stay, and he doesn't understand. And then by the time he realizes, it's too late.
Too late. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I've got for what worked. Did you have anything you want to touch on that we missed?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So, a couple of things that really didn't work for me. Only two things, because, I had to redact that one. So the first big thing is, the trope of mom dying or dad dying, and then the surviving parent tries to bring in a love interest that the kid's not into, is overdone. Kind of sick of that trope. It's a very annoying trope, because when they all have dinner, you can clearly tell he's trying to get close to, I think, Elizabeth, that's her name in the movie and in real life. And, Emily is like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And she's trying to be all nice. And then she gets yeeted out of a window, which was crazy. But it's a trope that is done a lot that I don't think they really had to do in this instance.
Yeah, I am also kind of tired of the whole same setup plotline thing. But I will say that it appeared that Elizabeth was more the aggressor, so to speak, because she's like, well, I figure the fastest way to heal from something is to move on to something new. Like girl, you just met him.
Right.
And I think it was more like he was receptive to it. And
they weren't full on dating or like, we're getting married in 2 weeks.
It was more like he was starting to spend time with her because she was showing interest, and he wasn't not open to it. He was kind of just seeing what the deal was, and he was enjoying some adult company, like an adult to talk to, that seemed nice, because what was his other option? The sheriff, who's kind of a dill hole sometimes.
Such a dick. And then the other thing was just the fact that they stayed past the cat in the tub is beyond me. If I were David, I'd be like, all right, we're leaving. Goodbye. So it's just kind of, obviously, part of his mind wanted him to stay, of course. But it's just crazy that they stayed after finding a dead cat in their tub with, stuff written on the walls. I would have been out the door.
Well, remember, he thinks it's her.
Yeah,
So,
I know, but
at that point, it's like he's
still
spiraling. He's trying to manage the situation. And he's already been told he needs to let someone else help.
I know, but
still spiraling.
You move out there and then stuff starts happening and you think your daughter killed a cat and wrote that stuff on there. Let's go take you to the doctor. It's just it's just like it's convenient that they stayed. But whatever. Do you have anything that didn't work for you?
No.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. I'm expecting 5 stars then. Hot take, lukewarm maybe. I don't know. I just feel like this movie gets a lot of hate. The reviews are kind of overly critical and harsh on this.
I agree.
Just not getting it. Obviously I don't have to agree with everybody. If it's not, not every movie is going to work for everyone, but I just don't get why people are so harsh on this movie. I feel like it's a little, undeserved. Anything for you?
No, but you said, I think this film is overhated, and sometimes on these slower burn thrillers, I feel like people don't have the patience.
Right. Yeah.
And not every movie's going to reinvent the genre. And sometimes just go watch the movie and enjoy it for what it is.
That's a thing that doesn't make sense to me is I guess some people, I don't know, it might have been something with expectations for this movie. Maybe the fact that it wasn't a ghost. It was, humans are the real monsters or whatever.
I think it would have been cheesy if it was a ghost. The fact that it's the dad, it didn't start till they were out there, because you really don't get any time with them while they're in New York, so you don't know if anything was happening before that, except that she's made a new friend and her doll's gone.
Right.
When she, right after they moved there. It makes it feel like it is somebody else because it didn't start until they were isolated.
Exactly.
So if it was just, a ghost is haunting the house, it probably would have ended up feeling a lot cheesier to me.
I think so as well. I think it still could have worked, but ultimately, yeah, it probably would have been not as satisfying as the ending that we got. So, and plus in a time, like in the early 2000s where we have, torture porn is starting to become popular. You have movies like Devil's Rejects. You have some Wolf Creek, torture porn, Hostel. You've got Amityville Horror Haunted House movie. I mean, I'd say this stands out amongst the pack of the year because it is slightly different than what's going on. It's not following the kind of tropes that are happening with horror movies as a whole. We even have remakes that are happening in 2005, like Dark Castle's doing a lot of remakes. House of Wax came out, stuff like that. So I think this one stands out from specifically 2005 as being a little different.
If we didn't know how old Dakota Fanning was, this one would actually feel fairly timeless.
Right, exactly, because De Niro's looked like that forever at this point. That's how he's always looked to me, unless you go back and watch, Goodfellas or Casino. But yeah, if it wasn't for her being in this movie, you'd be like, yeah, when was this made? Because there's not like a lot of technology going around in either. I don't really see that many cell phones. Although, wait, did people have beepers in this movie, or was that something else we watched? No, that was Crash, I think.
That was Crash.
So Hooked for me took a while for me to get hooked in, but it's when Emily wanders down to the basement, sees all that wacky shit going on down there, and then the power goes out. Like, nope, I'm good. And then Dad has to come down and find her. That one creeps me the fuck out, especially because the basement is through this closet, which is very sketchy, which kind of leads you to believe maybe this is a ghost story. Maybe someone died in this room and they're a trapped soul or something. So what about you?
I would say probably when she kind of goes wandering out and she sees a butterfly fly to the cave, like,
oh yeah,
that's the first time she meets Charlie. But you don't know that, and you're just like, who's that?
Right. Okay. Lost for me, never, but I assume most people get lost on that twist. So what about you?
No, there really isn't a moment I'm lost because it keeps building tension.
Yeah, that's
like, what's gonna happen now?
I think it's
keeps escalating.
Yeah. It keeps escalating the tension the entire way until you get that twist. Horror moment for me is actually a line delivered by Emily. It's when Sheriff Hafferty asks Emily what she's drawing, and she says, "You dying." I was like, oh, okay. And then he dies. I was like, God damn, that was dark as fuck.
Yeah.
That shit was dark. So what about you?
Probably when Elizabeth comes over and she's trying to like be nice to her and say, hey, I'm not trying to step on any toes here, and trying to make like an effort to be nice to her. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I like games. Like, I'm already playing.
What?
I'm like, what do you mean? Who are you playing with?
Yeah. Favorite kill for me, I mean, there's not very many, but Catherine, that girl got yeeted out of the window.
That was Elizabeth.
Jason Voorhees style, out of like a second story fucking window. Even wilder is the fact that David doesn't even know she was there. Well, Charlie does, but he was, writing with headphones on, what we saw on TV. So it's funny, or what we saw on the screen. It's just funny how I was like, does he even know that she's there? Because she walked in and went straight to Emily's room, and then the next thing you know, she's getting thrown out the window. I was like, wow, David doesn't even know she's there. But of course, he was behind it. So that kill almost sent me into space.
Yeah, the fact that you get the POV, the killer POV, and then you just see her fly. You're outside seeing her fly out the window. You're like, damn, that was a full force like throw.
And I guess that might be the moment where people could have put together that it was De Niro, because the body, when the sheriff comes, the body is not on the ground. The body is somewhere else. So that clicked in my head. Okay, this can't be a ghost story, because even if you had I was like, there's no way Dakota Fanning is moving that body for the ghost. I was like, so there's no way, but I still didn't click that it was David. I just did not suspect him at all.
Well, that's the thing. If you think about it, he also just spent a chunk of time where Elizabeth not only walked straight into their house.
Yeah, that's true.
Wandered around first, and nobody noticed.
Yeah.
top-notch security, and Elizabeth apparently has no social boundaries that she thought it was appropriate to wander about somebody else's house. But yeah, and he's oblivious to the fact that she's there. So someone could have easily also just been there, and that happened, and he had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Good times.
I mean, considering the cat thing, like the number of times things happened, and he had no idea because he was listening to something with his headphones on in his mind.
In his mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite character? I had David, but I got to change that because he's killing everybody.
Charlie.
Charlie. That's it. No, I'll go with Catherine. Catherine Famke Janssen. I'll go with her. She had the kid's best interest at heart.
Yeah, she seemed like the only one who was like, hey, I know this is what you want to do, but the reality is...
What we should do is...
Yeah.
What about you?
I really liked Emily.
Yeah.
Seeing that struggle of losing a parent, struggling with that. Now your other parent's doing something weird, and maybe it's a game, but now you're realizing it's not a game, but you don't feel like you can't talk to your parent about it. So she's like going through all these things.
I'm fucking 10. What do I do?
Yeah, and you just see her progress from, oh, this is fun, to this is not fun and I don't like it. Like when she calls Catherine and says, I don't want to play with Charlie anymore.
Straight up not having a good time. Least favorite character is Sheriff Hafferty, and it's mainly for writing David a ticket when he was new in town. Get fucked. Get out of here.
They didn't have to cop so much attitude.
Cop. Nice.
You're welcome.
Favorite line? Did you have one? I already said mine.
No.
Okay. Random thoughts. David losing Emily after being at the new house for 10 seconds was a terrible way to get a fresh start going. Just like you, I will 100% pass on closet doors with slats in them. No, thank you.
It's not so much slats, but slats that actually move.
That open,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't need, no.
Having a psychologist as a father would be a nightmare, but also a delight at the same time. Would have left the second I saw that basement. Love how Charlie is okay with being name dropped, but don't say anything else. And David was ready to bury a body for his child. If that's not love, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that man really was just like, I'm going to get this corpse and take it out of here because I got to protect my baby girl. And you're like, you know what?
Love.
Nice. I like it.
Yep. And
doing top tier work for making mistakes, doing top tier work as a dad, you know, that half of his personality.
And my expectations is that I knew Dakota Fanning and Robert De Niro were going to be good in this at minimum because they're great actors. And that's pretty much it. And I got a lot more than I expected. If I were to review horror movies, it would be... Where'd it go? Oh, Emily is guaranteed to have daddy issues after this whole experience.
Yeah.
Anything else on hide and seek before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so.
Okie dokie. Post-review stuff. Boom. Taglines, start counting. You can run, but you can't hide. Come out wherever you are. And if you want to know the secret, you have to play the game.
Nobody strained themselves on those.
No. This actually is some really cool trivia, so I don't know how accurate the time is, because 70 years seems like a long time, but apparently, for the first time in 70 years, 20th Century Fox shipped out prints of this movie without the final reel, which was shipped separately. This was done as a security measure, as so people wouldn't be able to reveal the ending. To further ensure the safety of protecting the film's ending, security guards would hand-deliver the reel to theaters showing the film. Fox had individually numbered each reel as well as a final security measure. For Executive Vice President and Sales Manager Richard Meyerson, stated it was, quote, to ensure everyone's enjoyment of the film and to prevent spoilers, we've instituted extraordinary measures. We think it's worth the effort. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like that. Famke Janssen says she wouldn't have done this movie had Robert De Niro not been attached. Contrary to popular belief, Dakota Fanning wore a brown wig rather than having her hair dyed. And at the dinner scene where Emily is presented books, the top book is Charlotte's Web, who Dakota Fanning played Fern Arable, the main human character in the live-action adaptation of the story, Charlotte's Web, 2006. Goofs, nothing I could find of value. Rated 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb, 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Has a fucking 13% on the tomato meter, which feels like a crime. And a 50% audience score, so I'll take that. But my God, what did you give this movie?
4.
Ooh, Oh, I also gave it a 4. I was not expecting this to be a Frightmare certified slap, but here we are.
You know I'm going to be biased if I pick the movie.
That's true. Similar movies according to Letterboxd. We have The Sixth Sense, Orphan, What Lies Beneath, The Ring, and Pet Sematary. Similar movies according to IMDb. We have Dark Water, 2005, Gothica, The Skeleton Key, What Lies Beneath, and Flight Plan, which feels really out of place.
A little bit.
You got some funny reviews?
I've got 3.
You've got all right, I'll go first then because I have 5. You can intermingle them in there. Okay, so 3 stars from KZ. They barely played hide and seek. And I agree. They did not have enough.
Now I have 2.
Oh, shit. All right, let me do another one then. 3.5 stars from Sam. Do you have that one?
No.
A better twist. Charlie Day is the imaginary friend. Okay, go ahead.
2 stars from Alex. The real Charlie is the friends we made along the way.
3 stars from Stefan Burger Steffens. Okay. See, this is why I don't want kids. They tell you what's up. They don't tell you what's up. They just act all spooky.
3 stars from KZ. They barely played hide and seek.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. 2 stars for, 4.5 stars from Leah. I just know all the other child actors used to sigh whenever they saw Dakota Fanning enter the audition room.
Jesus. 3 stars from Brooklyn. Robert De Niro serving the cuntiest plot twist.
Jesus Christ. Well, I have one about De Niro too. 2 stars from Chris Evangelista. It's really weird seeing De Niro wearing large dad jeans. Oh, goodness. Anyways, if you enjoyed the show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, Blue Sky, Threads, and YouTube at frightmarespodcast. Our email is stayspooky@outlook.com. You can also follow me personally on Letterboxd to Dr. Proctor. You are
Watson LMP90.
Watson Limp. Boo, yeah. Be sure to follow our sister podcast, The Shameless Pictures Show, and also check out the Dead-Eyed Millennial podcast as well. 2 shows I edit. Next week, Corey and I will be doing Hatchet from 2006.
You may watch that without me.
So until then, stay tuned and
stay spooky.